Well, hi again. My name is David Schwartz, and this is actually a continuation of a video I did. It was my recent journey with autism and anxiety. And actually, this video is meant to sort of continue that story of what's been going on in the last week or so. Some interesting things have happened. I basically discovered some things, and so what I want to do is I want to try to go back, like what I talked in my last video about was basically, well, because I have autism and I'm suffering with anxiety, depression, and I had been on some psychiatric drugs. There was Lamictal and risperidone, and those drugs were, well, they ended up giving me really bad side effects, and then the withdrawals getting off of them, even though I was doing it the right way, weaning off of them, they were so bad. There was another medication. They gave me some bad side effects, psychiatric ones, was lisinopril, which is a blood pressure medication. And anyway, um, so I had had some issues with those drugs, but in the video that I had just done, I was suffering really bad with anxiety. It got to the point that, I was tired of doing the medications and finally came across TMS, which is, I believe it's transmagnetic. I forget what the S. Well, it basically they shoot impulses in your brain, magnetic through magnets, and it was amazing what it was doing for me at one point. It was really helping me with my anxiety was like gone, and what I had also been doing was I had been obsessing over my body, and so like you name it. I mean, whether I had a pain in my stomach or my back, or honestly, if my butt felt irritated, like I would almost hallucinate, like, oh my God, it's like, help me, the world is ending. This is like so bad. I can't deal with this. And uh, there was a thing that I talked about this testing, and my mom actually was the one that told me about it. And just to go over it real quick, it's like you stand. This is the best way to do it. You stand and you ask sort of like to the world or ask to God or whatever, like first you want to know which direction is positive or yes for you and which is negative. And when you figure that out, you then start asking questions of like, well, I mean, you're not going to ask like, oh, when am I going to get married or something like that, but it's going to be more physical health type questions, or like my mom would do a lot of was like supplements are going to be good for her or stuff like that. But let's say as she would start saying, well, let's see, do you have anxiety? Like for me, because you can test for other people, but you got to check to see if you're good for doing that. But let's say she would ask, could I test for me? Could she test for me? Okay, fine. That would give her a yes. And then, do I have anxiety? Okay, yes. And then it would be, well, is the anxiety causing whatever, the back pain, or possibly my obsessing over my body? And a lot of times would be yes, well, causing me the body pains, the obsessing over whatever. I mean, there were certain things that we just didn't fully understand what was going on. But my mom, who just um, just kept wanting to like figure out what's going on, and as I had felt similar symptoms before the TMS, and the TMS really was helping take away like the obsessing over my body and the anxiety and stuff like that. But then um, about a month and a half, and then I started doing the maintenance of the TMS. Well, because frankly, I was starting to get the anxiety again. And as you would normally do anyway, the maintenance, it would start at some point. Each person is different though. And so as I started finally doing that, the anxiety, it just like felt like, oh my God. And you're only going like once a week at this point with the TMS. And I just felt like, well, my anxiety is really coming back strong. But then I'm obsessing again, which really started like the last week or so really bad with the obsession and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, so what in the world is happening here? And then really getting the bad pains in my neck, upper shoulder, like, and then my arm and my wrist. And so my mom is just like, this was one day we go out, I go out, take her shopping and stuff, and what grocery shopping and stuff a few times a week, and we were in Publix, and she just started asking, like, because she had been asking a few days before, and then she was getting that I didn't have anxiety. And then it's like, okay, so then if you don't have anxiety, then how, then what might be causing your body pains? Like, okay, might ask, well, is it normal? And it maybe would say yes, but then she would say, but sometimes it wouldn't say that. And then maybe it would be, oh, you don't have anxiety. Okay, so then she started asking about if I had tension in my body, like, and then it was saying yes for maybe a few days. Then this time at Publix, it was like saying no to everything, just about. And then she started trying to think, well, what could it be? And how she came up with this neurological misfiring. And it actually was saying yes. And she was kind of like, well, what do I do with that? I don't understand almost what that means or whatever. And then she started saying, well, could it have anything to do with those medications, which was the Lamictal, the risperidone, and there was also the lisinopril, which was the blood pressure medication that caused me psychiatric uh, side effects, bad ones, and well, really bad anxiety, mostly panic attacks and stuff like that, and it led me to calling 911, and I was in the hospital, some emergency room a few times, and yeah, it was so bad. But the TMS really helped, and even when I was doing the maintenance of TMS, I have to say, anxiety didn't feel quite as bad, and but this obsessing was getting certainly worse. And anyway, so she asked if these medications, and she first was asking though, was the stuff out of my system? Yes, it was out of my system, but was uh, these medications somehow responsible for this neurological misfiring? And it was saying yes. And it was like, was a neurological misfiring causing the body pains? Yes. And was it causing me to obsess? Yes, and all this stuff. And it was just like this eye-opening, like, oh my God, this is like amazing. So I had to start texting my chiropractor, who, by the way, is like the best, like I would say, doctor. Honestly, I live in Miami, Florida, and his name is Dr. Lewis Lewis Arant, or Arant, Arrandt, and he's on about it's like 10651 Southwest 88th Street, I believe is the exact address in Miami. He is the best. And I was texting him immediately. He didn't respond. And the next day I texted again, did you get my text? And still no response. So then I said, let me call their office. And I usually have an appointment every week. Well, I scheduled it. I wanted to schedule it for that same day, but then I had to schedule the next day. So when I saw him, I said, did you get my text? And he says, I don't know, maybe. I don't remember. So I started telling him what my mom said. And he says, well, let me test you. And he says, well, he says, I wouldn't use those words that your mom used. It's sort of like the neurological pathways are like screwed up or whatever. But yeah, it's basically, we didn't really get into those medications causing it or whatever. But enough to say, this was like, wow, that my mom sort of discovered this. And my chiropractor already had given me some homeopathic, you put it in water, and it's supposed to take away your stress, it will make you feel less stressed and anxious, it and actually with the way he does his testing, it could be one day that it's going to work great for you, the next day no, and so you don't take it. It could be for any supplement, it could be for anything, because he does a different kind of testing where he puts his hand on the back of your head and he's feeling a notch there and he rubs it, and it's just amazing. He's actually told me my when I got my blood test at my doctor, he told me my A1C was going to be about a 5.4, 5.5 before I got the blood test results, and he was right. It was a 5.5. And he also told me I had a biopsy done on like a mole on my butt, and he said it's benign before they told me. It's amazing. So, um, anyway, he was basically the stuff that I said, and then he wanted to do this thing on me, well, use this machine on me. It's called a rebuilder, and they attach these electrodes to your ears with a gel that conducts electricity, and it shoots impulses into your brain basically, and supposedly can change the neurological pathways. I mean, it's a crazy thing to think. But after that, and that day, he said that the it's called humankind. This liquid that's homeopathic that's helped you distress was good for me. And boy, I was starting to feel, because I had already some of the water, and after this rebuilder, feel very relaxed, very calm. But as much as I was relaxed and calm, I still was honestly kind of obsessing over my body, and I still felt like not right, and I still had some pain in my body. But over the course of the day, the pain was better. I felt definitely better, and uh, he basically also was wanting to. Well, he was telling me about some other homeopathic stuff from the same Humankind brand that can supposedly stop you from having negative thoughts. Like, I don't know how it exactly works, but I have a piece of paper and I did skim over it, but it's supposed to help you. And there's something where you could take to give you positive thoughts. But he says, well, let's not rush into things. And each person takes their own time, as far as healing and how things, it could be more of a gradual improvement in things. So he says, I'll see you in a few days. We'll probably do the rebuilder again. And we'll see, like, there were different things that he was going to test me, but he says, well, wait. So when I went back, and yeah, the rebuilder was pretty relaxing too. The water was good for me that time, but I had also brought in a protein bar, and I said, this, my mom wasn't testing good, and he's like, well, today it's fine, and I said, okay. He says, but tomorrow, I don't know, and it's so funny. It's almost like a funny thing with him because you just never know each day one to the next what's going to be. So anyway, as things happened, and it was just the other day, my mom was wanting to, like to try to get more understanding of what's going on, and she was looking online, and she comes up with this. Well, what apparently was in 2020, I guess they did like studies or more studies, or they came up with the, I think it's PWS, which is protracted withdrawal syndrome. And it's a thing, a real thing that people who were on the type of drugs that I was, the psychiatric drugs, that it would like, they would have, okay, like say you go through the withdrawal when you're getting off of it, let's say, but it could lay dormant like in your system. And then months later, even, some would get like the muscle pains, some would get diarrhea or uh, nausea. And so it could do this. It could like lay dormant, and it, apparently, I guess, did something in the nervous system, and maybe just didn't come out until. And apparently, I had that before the TMS, and I guess it was coming back until it's to where we're at right now, basically. And I should say the place that I get the TMS is GIA Miami, GIA Miami. I believe uh, their web address is www.giamiami.com, I think. So you can check them out. They're in Miami, Florida. I think maybe I said that. And they're really great. They they've done so much for me. They've helped with payment plans. They've given me a few. I've got a few sessions for free. Basically because you know, they've just been great. All their doctors. Dr. Moreno is the TMS doctor, and they've done, like, I did a blood test and they did on a bunch of things. They have therapists there too. You can pretty much get, like, for emotional, like psychiatric problems, like depression, anxiety, OCD. Because that's what they, even the TMS they've done on treatment resistant OCD, the TMS that I've been getting for the anxiety. And so yeah, that is just amazing. So anyway, I guess to get back to where I was, well, with my mom anyway, this PWS, which is I think it's the protracted withdrawal syndrome. Yeah. So Sorry about that. I guess my computer decided to go to sleep, and I guess I keep forgetting it's going to do that. So anyway, yeah. So we're basically at this stage that uh, see how things are going. I see my chiropractor in about another week, and I'll probably be starting on some of these homeopathic things with the to help with the negative thoughts and so forth. And I do see a psychologist, and uh, she's been really great. And like she's told me different things. You when you're feeling the anxiety or you're feeling stressed out, you take your deep breathing exercise, and uh, oh, there's other things. There's what I have here. I see it online. I see it on the screen. 10 ways to untwist your negative, your thoughts or whatever, and yeah, stuff like that. She's really great through FIU Health, and so right now it's just well, and I should also mention, for the body aches and pains, my chiropractor was testing because my mom had been testing, and everything was like getting negative. And not that I didn't try some of these things anyway, like BioFreeze and well, Tiger Balm, but my chiropractor said, no, you want something on the cold side, and he mentioned like mineral ice. Well, my mom had tested at one point; it was good, but then it wasn't. So he came up with SOMBRA, Sombra Cool. I'm gonna try it. I'm waiting to get it. At the same time, there was this supplement my mom found on Amazon, and he tested it would be good. It's supposed to help with stress, anxiety. It's got GABA. Oh God, what does it have else in it? So many things. I just can't think of them. It's amazing. It's like the bottles in the other room. But anyway, it's got a bunch of homeopathic, natural product, and it's been a few days. We'll have to see more on that. How that goes. And I think I mentioned it in my other video. If I didn't, there's this Neurostat, which is a nasal spray that my chiropractor also is supposed to help detoxify your brain, basically. You know, I guess, yeah, basically, I don't know how else to put it, but that's what it's detoxifying the cells, I guess, or and get rid of, I guess it could potentially get rid of like leftover medicine prescriptions in your body. I don't know exactly, but anyway, uh, I guess unfortunately, I'm seeing this video is kind of maybe not the best. It's kind of breaking up here and there, but well, let's see. So anyway, I'm at this point now where I'm kind of curious about the you out there that have watched my, or 14 of you have watched my other video. But anyone out there, is anyone else going through this type of thing? Has experienced the same thing, been on the same like drugs, and experiencing these symptoms? Because maybe this could be eye opening for you, as it was for me, and you could now have, oh, this is explains what's been going on, and so if I'm helping anywhere, anyone out there, and I would say, please, I could always use more subscribers. I'd like to help people, as I have videos out there, and I did a playlist on to include all the videos of how to make money taking surveys, because I've wanted to help people, and I finally started doing that, not, well, maybe a few years ago. And so if anyone wants to leave a comment, please feel free, because I'd like to know what anyone else has gone through, and it could help me if I make more videos on this type of topic. I'll know more of what to do, of what you want to hear, what you want to get from me, and give a like, please, if you enjoyed this video. And well, try to think if there's anything else that I might have missed that I wanted to talk about. But basically, yeah, this is where we're at. It's this testing. I mean, my mom will say sometimes, "Oh, but don't rely on that. It's not good. You should be able to know what you're feeling, like what's going on with you, and you shouldn't have to rely on that." But I guess right now I'm in that moment where I still have the obsessing about my body and different things that it can make me feel like I know why something. And even if it's reinforcing what I should kind of already know, you know, I don't know, I get something from it. So, you know, but hey, if any of you have never heard of this, the testing, you can see, you can try it out. But anyway, I guess I'll end the video here. And, everyone, take care. Until next time.